Don't you see the similarities between us? Take a minute and see yourself in the mirror. You look like me, those eyes, lips, you can't deny. Have you thought about why we look the same? Why we feel the same? Don't tell me it's by chance. Oh, you're my brother, you're my sister, we're one big family. Oh, oh, you're my brother.
All right, you're welcome again to this session. Thank you all for joining us, and we are excited to have you. I told you I don't want to hear. Thank you all for joining us, and we are excited to have you here. We are having the topic. This session is going to be a panel session, and it's going to be handled by specialists. One thing I like about this particular session is the fact that we have professionals and well-experienced individuals. When I say well-experienced individual, when we sum their wealth of experience in marriage, in parenting, and in life generally, we can say we are getting an experience of close to 100 years. So I want you, our audience, to please pay attention, be ready, share this video, please share the video, tag somebody to this conversation so we all can learn. If you have young ones, I keep saying it, if you have younger ones that are already in the institution, that's when we start catching butterflies. Please tell them to encourage them to join the conversation. Please encourage them to join the conversation. While we are waiting for other speakers to join us, we are delighted to let you know that the topic before us now is starting a family. Starting a family the right how. Like I have said earlier on, those that are here to handle this session, believe me, you are going to be wowed. We have the one of 20 years of experience being married. We have the one that is, of course, when you sum their age together, now you know, you know what's going to happen. When you sum the wealth of experience of adults, 3 grown adults together that have nothing less than child of 20, 18-year-old, you are going to be taking amazing lesson away from this place. So from this topic, we are going to be learning how we can start our family rights. Like I mentioned during this opening speech, that your family is the greatest nation on earth. Your family, when God talks about families or nations in the holy books, it doesn't just talk about them in terms of, it doesn't mention name. It talks about it in terms of value, how much impact you're going to make. So now here we have amidst us the person that I cherish so much, the person of Olori Adeton, like we fondly call her, like she fondly loved to be called. And then we also thank you for joining us, ma. I don't know, I think you are muted. Okay, you're welcome, ma. You're welcome, ma.
Thank you. Nice to be
You're
here.
welcome, ma. Thank you, ma. So we also have with us Mr. Juwon. Mr. Juwon Odutayo is somebody that I also respect so much. When you see Mr. Juwon on social media with his wife, you'll be amazed at the way he treats his wife like a baby, the way you usually call him. And I'm like, this is amazing. So we are also going to be learning from a man who has rich experience in marriage and parenting, how we also can start to build our family on the right path. Like I said earlier on, this session is not just about bringing about people with experience in marriage, not just experience. These are experience that are certified. They know they are in the profession of building families, so they know what it takes to start right, and they know the cost of not starting right. So welcome with me also is Mrs. Bombata. This one, when you hear the name last song, you know now, Mrs. Bomb, like we fondly call her. She's also somebody that I respect and value so much. That baby face, don't let it deceive you. It's just like allow. And really they are bad. Don't mind that she just have a baby face. So she has her own worth of experience too. And I'm so delighted to have her honor our invite. So believe me, if you have younger ones, I keep saying it, all of us, we catch butterfly while we are doing this love thing. And there are quite a lot of mistakes that we made, which is part of life, but we can actually minimize that errors, that mistakes when we start right, when we listen to those that are experienced, and not just experience, they have the experience of life and also of training and also of certification. So these people here are going to be telling us how we can start our family right, how we can go ahead to start on the platform that is correct, that will minimize the challenges that we'll face as we grow old in building our family. Because undoubtedly, there are going to be challenges, but how can we as individuals forge ahead or minimize the need for us having that challenge in the first place? So with me, I would like to just start with Mrs. Bump. Are you here? Let me quickly
Yes,
read
I'm
her
here.
profile.
Assalamualaikum.
Thank you. You're welcome, ma. So, Mrs. Bombata, like we fondly call her, is Bushra Okeowo Bombata, is a marriage counselor and a teen coach. She begins her career counseling years ago, and she has successfully worked with individuals, couples, and families battling with relationship crises and issues. Though she started only as a marriage couple, but now she has developed interest in teen counseling, especially for teenagers who are having struggling with personal, academic, and emotional or career studies. So our professional counseling engagement is in the last 6 years has afforded her the opportunity and vast experience of working with arrays of clients, both from home and abroad. So Mrs. Bump, like she's fondly called, currently works as a senior counselor at COC of MS Solution Consulting International by leading them in marriage and educational consulting firm in Nigeria. She's the lead consultant at Heartthrob Solution, a space where couples can find solace in their sexual relationship issues. So thank you for joining us, Mrs. Bump. We appreciate you for honoring our invite. And then we
Assalamualaikum.
have Walaikum salam
Thanks for
barakatuh. Thank
having
you,
me.
ma.
I'm
You're
delighted to be
welcome,
here.
ma. Thank you. So we also have here with me is Olori Adetong, like we fondly call her. She is called Rashida. Her name is Rashida Adetong Okeolaniyan, is a graduate of mass communication, a school directress, and an internationally certified marriage and family counselor. She's the CEO of Froya Amiti, a lead counselor at Teens World Professional Service. She's popularly called Olori Adetong. She has received training at MS International Solution Consulting Firm and the marriage of Institute of Marriage and Family Affairs, USA. She's a fellow of many institutions and associations like the Institute of Management Consultancy, Chartered Institute of Management Consultancy. She's a writer of Couples Appreciation Journal, centered on engaging appreciation amongst couples. She's currently running a doctorate in social entrepreneurial at Roxburgh Institute of Social Entrepreneurial, Switzerland. Thank you very much, Ma, for joining us. We appreciate you. You're welcome to this session. So, Mr. Juwon, thank you also. Mr. Juwon is also here. And for he is an accomplished and visionary leader with a proven track record in family life and wellness industry. With a deep understanding of organizational leadership, family system engineering, and human psychology, Mr. Juwon Odutayo has successfully led several organizations to substantial growth and profitability. As the CEO of ICTS, he uses his wealth of experience and expertise to provide men and women with reliable, razor-edged tools for finding joy and fulfillment in their marriages, helping them unlock untapped, boundless in them to thrive in their relationship. So you can see that we have brought to you amazing people here today that are going to give you the things that you can use to find yourself, to find that thing that will help you thrive in building and starting a family right. So thank you everyone once again for joining us in this session.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Juwon. So now I will go by starting the question with us. So now when we hear that we're starting families, we all know that for many of us, we start families, we believe a typical African setting, Nigeria setting, let's use Yoruba for example, because I believe that majority of us, at least on the screen, we are Yorubas. And we know when we're about to start a family, we just say, I'm meeting Lolly or call, my child is going to be wedded. So I pray, Mufori, they will pray for you, they will do all that for you. And then, fiam, you are gone to your family house, you have gone to your new home. Automatically, they expect you to just by default know how to operate. Do you think that that approach is so sustainable, and is it actually the right way to go? Just leaving the child and just saying getting married and then you leave the child, fiam, go and go. That question is addressed to Mr. Juwon. I would like to hear your perspective as the man in the house. So that's the way many of us got married. What do you think about that, sir?
Once again, thank you for having me. I don't know what happened why you called my name, because they usually will say ladies first, but you have decided to do man first right now. So
yes, now man first now.
In a situation where I am the only man, I know if I try to fight it, I will lose the battle. So let me just accept it like that. Okay, wow. I mean, first and foremost, I'm going to commend you for this. And also add that we need more conversations like this. So well done for all that you do in parenting and in family life generally. My prayer is that God will continue to strengthen you and give you even bigger resources and bigger platforms that you'll be able to impact more lives. Okay, so your question was that as parents, we just release grown-up daughters or sons to just go and start their life like that. Is that approach right? I think the answer is also in the question. The fact that we are asking that question means that we probably understand that it is not a very good approach. I don't think people or men and women should just be sent into marriage or should just be released into marriage based on the fact that they are old enough, they are 25 or they are 35 or so. Preparation is key, and I think that's the crux of this topic, starting a family right. Preparation is key. And then when you also consider preparation, there are so many things that are involved in preparation. So even the preparation that is obtainable today also, as far as I'm concerned, it may not be sufficient because, I mean, when we do premarital counseling for 2-3 months for a journey that you are expected to stay for the rest of your life. So it's like putting 40 or 50 years of marriage on a 2 months training. Even first degree is not like that. At least first degree will be 4 years. So when we do that, it just shows that, and of course, it's also say that marriage is the only institution where they give you the certificate before you even start it at all. So I think that's why this topic is very, very crucial and important. So how do we get people to start right? When you're going to start a family, how do we train them? How do we equip them with the right tools to start right? So to answer that question, I think it's something that we need to address properly so that we will not have the issues that we are having in marriages and in families today, because everybody comes from a family, whether corrupt or not corrupt. So if we take care of the families right, if you take care of the families well, we will produce the right society. So let me just make that submission.
Okay, thank you very much for that, sir. I really appreciate that. So now I'll hand over to our moderator for this session. Mr. Rukoya, please just take over and from there and ask the next person the question.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Oh, so sorry. And peace be upon everyone that is here. Regardless of if you're a Muslim or not, we are one, right? And we are all trying to build a family. We live together. We have to cohabit regardless of our religion. And I think this is an important topic for us all. We have our children around. We have our sisters, our brothers. We have neighbors that are non-Muslims. So peace be upon everyone here. My name is Rukoya Adebayo. And I think since we have the man in the house have taken over, we have to go next to our queens in the house, our mothers. So my question now will go to Mrs. Olori Adetong. Assalamu alaikum and good morning. In your opinion, when does the journey to starting a family begin? Right? Family, starting a family rather start somewhere from maybe the introduction level or to getting to know each other. Everything has to start somewhere. When does that journey begins? When do you think it begins from? When should a young lady, a single lady, someone who is actually interested in getting into a marital relationship, when should that begin?
Thank you very much. Actually, when it comes to starting a family or going into marriage, it's a continuous thing. It's a generational thing from one generation to the other. So, immediately your child, for me, I would say that immediately the child is born, the child gets to a certain stage of puberty, you need to start discussing some things with your child. This is like a guideline for that child, either a male or a female. There has to be a guideline from the parents, from mentors, from coaches towards a successful marriage or towards starting a family. Even it is when you guide a child that the child can know that, okay, this is the step I want to take. That is when the child can sit down and think very well, is that what I really want for myself or is not what I want for myself? We cannot just leave the child and say that, okay, because I'm married to your father, I'm married to your mother, then just go in and go and look for somebody like your mother or your father. No. There are some things that these children are they are learning from us. They might not want it in their own marriage, but how do we guide them? It starts from discussion. That is when they can have a mind of themselves. That is when they know that this is what I have discovered of myself. This is what I want for myself. This is what I want from my partner. And with that, they have a sense of belonging. It's a goal. It's a goal they want to achieve. It's a goal that has a timeline that has to be put down. It's not something that you can just jump in, just like Mr. Juwan has said, that within 2-3 months, I announced that they are going for counseling, maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and that's the end. And they're not going to marry. No. It's a lot of years planning for them. And it has a stage. From stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3, before they now come, okay, this is where I want to end to. This is my ending point. That is the only way that they can be sure of themselves and they can be sure of who they are going in, who they want to spend the rest of their life with. So starting a family is a long way, it's so a long much journey, and it's so a continuous
I think the network. Oh, can you hear me? I the only one that can see that she's not here?
She's here. I can hear her.
She's here. We can hear her.
You can hear her. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I can now.
We heard it clearly.
Okay. So it's a long journey. It's a lot of years planning, not a 2 weeks or a 3 months planning. It's a lot of years of planning, and it doesn't start even because by the time you say you want to start planning or you want to start a family at the age of 18, that means that child is even ripe enough to be married, and it might even be too late. So starting a family starts way back, I would say, from the teenage stage or even before. But it depends on the discussion that you're having with that child that will determine when and how and when it's going or how it's going to end. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I'm going to come in here in that stage from experience, right? When you said, well, the first thing I think I picked up was when you said, you can't just say that you want to marry someone like your mom or your dad, because really, we all have different personalities. My mom has a different personality from mine. From me, my dad has something way different. I would say my dad is this authoritative person. And I don't think, I tell my brother the other, I don't think I want someone like my dad. No. So I think it's very, very crucial that we don't even think like that. Oh, you don't want to think, oh, I want someone like my dad. No, me, I don't want it. Maybe you want someone like your dad. But just for that, a bit of that African father strictness, I don't want it. And I could also understand from the part of, bringing up our kids from the teenage years, right? We have a lot of people who are falling into relationship, marital, marrying someone that has lot of red flags. We have people who have married a narcissist just because they don't just know what is going on as from an early age, right? So I truly understand that. Yes, it might be too late when we start seeking for counselorship and all of that within 3 to 4 months. So yeah, I think so. So I would push the question back to Mrs. Bum, right? Peace be upon you, sis. Ma'am, our queen.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. So from your opinion, when does the journey to starting a family begin? I read your stories a lot, and I know you counsel a lot of young Muslims going into marriage, and I would really love to hear your point for that view.
Okay, firstly, I want to thank you for bringing me here. I want to really appreciate the organizer of this platform, because this is a conversation that we should have every time. It's not something that we should have maybe once in a while or thereabout, because everybody, every family is giving out their daughters or picking in another daughter every weekend. At every weekend there's over Owambe. So everybody is getting married. So it's a conversation that everybody should have, including parents. Yes, including parents. Now, starting a family, like Olori Adeton has said, is from the family. Like the education you are giving to your children from maybe teenage age. In fact, I don't want to start teenage age. From you yourself as a father, as a mother, you are teaching your children how to build a family from what you do in the home. The children learn a lot from us. So you want your child to have a good family, then you have to be one in that your home. Because apart from the fact that you are teaching them, they are learning from you. Now to come down to when exactly. A lot of times they read things, they feel they are ready. The readiness starts from you. Apart from what you have learned from your parents, apart from what they have taught you, apart from what you learned on the internet, apart from every other thing, it is you. Start asking yourself questions. You have to be emotionally ready, financially ready, communicationally ready. Like, are you ready to be responsible? Are you ready to make sacrifices? Ask yourself, what are values that, a lot of times people ask, what value are you bringing on the table? What are you as a person asking the question bringing to the table? Have you gotten enough, equipped enough? So it is everybody, the communication aspect, the community aspect, to build us, to build a family. There's a quote I like to say: if you marry, a lot of us marry anyhow because we feel that, we can just start a family because, like I said, it is not about the financial aspect of this. Some guys, when I meet them, ask them, okay, are you ready for marriage? Yes, I'm making money, I'm ready for marriage. They're only ready.
Is it from my end?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can now. I think you went off beat. We can now. I was also thinking.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. We can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum.
We can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So like I was saying, a lot of times people think they are cubed, they learn from this and that, and they are ready to marry. Majority of them, I tell you, they come for premarital counseling and you realize that they are lost. Or some of them will not even, okay, now let's come to premarital counseling like Mr. Juwon has said. Some of them struggle to come for training. They will tell you that this is too much, whereas they can make a lot of money. They will make a lot of money for the proper wedding ceremony, but they're not ready for marriage because they feel that, okay, it's all about finances. So when you are ready, you ask yourself, apart from what you have been taught, apart from the training you get, you must be well equipped, both emotionally. Are you ready? Are you stable? Are you emotionally stable? Are you struggling with something that you need to put away? Are you ready to be responsible? These are questions you should ask yourself. And it is not all about you alone. You have to go from one coach to another. We have communication coach, we have marital coach, we have people who are supposed to train you. If you are ready at that time, believe that you are ready. There's a particular a code I would like to say here. If you marry anyhow, you live your life anyhow, and you raise anyhow family. So you can't afford to just marry anyhow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that last statement is so key. If you marry anyhow, you live anyhow. So that is just so key. I think with that alone, just having that at the back of your head, you're like, okay, this is something I need to write down. This is something I need to see every single time. And right, so I think one of the most important questions that I think we should also ask, and we would love to ask you, is what's your advice for anyone who is about to start a family? Now we know how important, we've talked about how important it is, and when we should actually think, okay, when should we start? You can hear me, Mrs. Baum? Can you hear me, sir? You can hear me. I think that is from your side, Mrs. Baum. Mrs. Olori Adetoma, are you here, ma? Can you hear me?
I think it's their network.
Okay. So I think I would just go to Mr. Juwon Odutayo. So I think what's your advice for anyone who is about to start a family, sir?
Let me just add on what the two women have said. Okay, I think it's just the two of us now. The two of them, their network has thrown them off.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, we can just, I can go on, right?
Yeah, you can, sir. You can. Okay. They're definitely going to come back in.
Yeah, if I may add to the two, what the two contributions they made. The first university of life and of family anyone is born into is that of the father and the mother. The first experience of marriage that any child has is between the dad and the mom. The first idea, the first thoughts, whether good or bad, that the child will have about family is that of the mom and the dad. So if that experience is not good, they are not going to be excited about getting married. If that experience is good, they are going to look forward to creating their own. So consciously or unconsciously, as parents, we are either selling family, we are either marketing it well, or we are not marketing it well to our children. Wow. So when does a child start to prepare for marriage? As far as I'm concerned, the moment you give birth to that child. Because even children, when they can't speak, they begin to pick how, as a husband, I treat my wife. They see it. They are either, and you'll find 2-3-year-olds who are in class and who are not performing well because the home is not right. And they are not looking forward to doing something like that when they grow up. You'll find 4-year-olds, ask them about whether they're going to get married, and they'll say, no, they're not going to get married. Ask another 4-year-old, he's already talking about this person is my wife, because somebody is marketing a product to them at home. So a child begins to develop interest or not develop interest about starting a family right from home. So I just wanted to, add my own layer to that. We as parents, we're either marketing it well or we are not marketing it well. So a lot of responsibility. So if I have not marketed it well to my children, and then they become 20, and I want to see them down and say, now, you are old enough for marriage, but I have spent 19 years
of showing them
the bad markets. Now I want to spend 1 or 2 years to now make this institution look good to them. Can you see how difficult that would be? So it would be a situation of a physician, heal thyself, or preacher, practice what you preach. So the moment a child is born, parents begin to market whether family is good or not to that child. So we must be intentional. And like I said, I mean, sorry we lost you for some minutes. I just said that I was just sharing my own opinion about the role we play as parents. You'll find a 4-year-old who is already desiring, who is already, when you engage such a girl in conversation, you just say, this person is my husband, this person is my wife. Why? Because mommy and daddy are marketing something at home. They are marketing a product about family, about marriage that is interesting to her, and she can't wait to even start.
Yes.
You find another 4 or 5 year old. You find another 4 or 5 year old. You're talking about family, and they say no, they don't want to get married. Why? Because mommy and daddy unconsciously are not marketing family well at all. So it will be a tough task to now take that child as a teenager or as a 20 or 25-year-old and now want to do 1 year counsel about family, about how to do it right. When I, as a father, I've actually used 19 or 20 years to mess up the institution. So that role is key. So when I think I lost your question.
What's your advice for anyone who is about to start a family?
Okay, what my advice would be, the first advice I would give to such a person, whether man or woman, is rather than start looking for the perfect person to marry, can you prepare yourself as a perfect person to be married?
Yes.
Because a lot of times you are looking for the perfect guy or the perfect girl, but you are so unaware that you can't even marry yourself if you have to face yourself. So can you take the time out to actually also prepare yourself? And when I talk about preparing yourself, you know, I like to give this illustration. If you see a building, all you see are the beautiful architectural designs, the externals, the painting, the designs, and everything. If the contractors use substandard materials to construct that building, you won't know. What you are just seeing is the physical. But if you move in, and then there is 1 or 2 heavy downpour, you now begin to see a leak somewhere. Or maybe there's a crack somewhere, and the foundation, I mean, you've heard about buildings that collapse in Lagos.
Yeah.
According to Richard, 62 buildings collapsed in Lagos last year. 62.
Yeah.
And many of them are high rise. So, but people who actually bought or rented those apartments didn't know. They just saw fancy buildings. It's the same thing when we see people who are ready for marriage. You only see the externals. You don't know what materials were used, what values, what belief systems constructed them. And so it will take you creating time to actually know the values that have been installed in you. And then if the values are going to sabotage my family, I begin to uninstall them. Now, for someone like me, if you look at my pedigree and where I'm coming from, I'm not supposed to be successful in marriage. My dad had 9. Yes. Breaking news. Yes, my dad had 9. My dad had 9. And
9 children, right?
Why?
9 wives.
Why
9 wives.
Okay,
we have to get that. I think I was thinking siblings.
No, 9 wives. I don't even know the number of siblings we have. Anyway, dad had 9 wives. And it was a very, very toxic home. It was very toxic. If I look at all my siblings, I think it's only 2 of us as I speak to you right now. No, 3 of us as I speak to you right now. We are over 25. It's only 3 of us that are in a marriage. It's only 3. It's not that the others didn't try to get married. It just didn't work out. It failed. So that's the system that produced me. Now I have to take time out to learn and unlearn, to uninstall the wrong programming and install the right programming so that I will not reproduce what my dad did. Now, a lot of people, I mean, it is true that you can't actually, you don't decide your parents. But if you take time out to take a study of where you're coming from and prepare yourself, you will drop certain things and pick up other things. So that's what I will advise to anybody who wants to start a family. That have you taken time out to actually understudy yourself, to know your tendencies and your idiosyncrasies, so that you will know the person that can match you. So before you go and begin to search for a perfect person, can you prepare yourself to be the perfect person to be found? That would be my first advice. And let me just stop.
Thank you so much. Like I so can relate, especially the part where you said your dad, had maybe some of them have even gone, because when it comes to African parents, not all 9 will be there. And I have an experience.
It was a local champion.
African parents home, I have the same experience, right? And it is right now, it is only my mom that is with him, and we have siblings that we don't even talk, that we only see maybe once in a year for Eid. We don't even have any relationship, except my whole maybe parent, or some of them that we have this very, very close knit relationship. So I totally can understand. And I would say, like, we should keep up with we should all pin on that part of self-awareness. Like, Mr. Juwon said, self-awareness is key to learn and unlearn every other thing that we might have gone through from our own family. You need to learn about yourself. You need to unlearn some things that you've seen, probably your father shouting to his wives, or the things you saw literally from growing up. Everything, like you said, every step of the way, we are actually seeing them. I watched this movie. It's a Yoruba movie, and this little girl, I think she was like 7 years old, went to school, was beating up her classmates with something like, maybe was eating one of her classmates, and she said, "What happened? Where did you get this?" And she said, "My mom and dad used to fight with this. They fight at home, they break bottles." And this is the reality, right? This is the reality. And we all kind of saw 1 or 2 things growing up, either positive or negative. The key thing is, as at now, as an adult, whoever is watching, you're a teenager, you're an adult, you're in your early 20s, what can you start doing now? Self-awareness. Like he said, self-awareness is key. Learn and unlearn. Learn and unlearn. That is the most important thing. We don't really have even kids now, except for us parents, like what Mrs. Baum said. For us parents, we just have to go, okay, fine, I need to start showing my kids the right thing. But for a lot of people that are here, we probably have a lot of early 20s, maybe few teenagers or people who are trying to get back into another marriage. What can you learn? How can you be the best person to the person you want to marry? You want an image of someone you want. That person that you want, how can you match it? It's all about like attract likes. Why? What the person you want to attract? What do you want to actually be like? You can't attract someone you want if you are not that person as well. If you don't emulate the kind of character and the person they would like to see, right? So thank you so much. That was really so profound. That was like it's back to back, and I think every other person watching here has gotten a lot from it. So I'm thinking I'm going to go back to Mrs. Baum. Welcome back, ma'am. So I would go with the question, what would you say is the first step in starting a family? First step.
Okay, so the first step, because, family is a unit, is a unit of the society. And, starting a family is so significant, like it's a significant milestone in one's life. So it's a deeply spiritual and mental journey that you must be prepared for. What the first thing that you have to start to look out for when you start a family is, like you have, like I said before, look out for yourself first. If you want to start a family, you need to ask yourself. That will take us back to self-awareness. Who are you? And that's the first question I ask people when they come for marital counseling. And some of them will ask me, why are you asking about me? Yes, who are you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? These are important. Some of us run away from our weaknesses. We don't want to talk about it because that your weakness is a big deal for you. It's not enough for you to know that you have a weakness, but what are you doing about your weaknesses? What are you doing about to be a better version of who you really are? You cannot start something you don't know anything about. You don't know yourself. A lot of times, if you ask questions from somebody that you feel that older than you, even in your age mate or something, ask them, who are you? The first thing they will think about is, oh, what am I? What am I? What am I? But you ask them about the next person beside them, they jump at it. They start answering questions. And you ask them, who are you? They will say, oh, they actually took their time. You took your time to study that your friend, to know them. You took your time to study that your teacher, and you went that man, I know when he sleeps, he doesn't like, he likes to snore. You, what do you know about yourself? You have to know yourself, because if you don't know yourself enough, you get attracted to the wrong person. And if you get attracted to the wrong person, that's a problem. Or you are going to have a problem starting a family. So knowing yourself is a big deal in starting a family. Know yourself, know what you want, know your goals, know your value, know your weaknesses, know the help you need. A lot of us, like you, like Mr. Juwan said, they were broken from their homes. They know all this. You need to fix yourself. You need to see a therapist to fix that your mental health. Those are things that you are going to do together before you think of starting a family. It's not enough to say, I found a fine girl, or you've had a lot of, Instagram couples, and you are so interested, you are so happy to start a family. Check yourself. If you check yourself enough to know yourself, to know the challenges you have, to seek for help, then at that time, you will know that you want to start a family, including knowing your value, because when you meet somebody, you're going to discuss your values. You're going to discuss your goals, your everything. That is when you know that, okay, yes, I'm ready to start a family. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think the importance of knowing ourselves, like you just said, is so, like, you ask someone, okay, who are you? And you start hearing, oh, I'm a fashion designer. We are, I've been there when you start the self-awareness journey. Okay, who are you? I'm a fashion designer. I'm a doctor. No, who are you exactly? Because if you really don't know who you are, you can't get anywhere. And I think everything around, from what Mr. Juwan said, from what you said right now, goes back to self-awareness. Just know yourself. Know yourself. Okay. And before I got to moderate the session, I was chatting with Star Shakira. She was like, you can chip in your experience and all of that. I am a divorced, single mother, and I have this super experience, right? I got to know myself in the marriage. I got to realize, okay, so this is me. I realized it was so painful, because it's at the end of the day, even apart from knowing that I was in an abusive marriage, I realized that it is not even his fault. It is my fault for not knowing who I am, for not knowing that, okay, this is not even the type of person I want to be in general. I actually don't even know who I want to be, what I want to do. I just got in there based on, okay, clout. Right, so right now thinking about it, it's been 2 years, and I'm like, okay, self-awareness hasn't stopped. I'm still learning and unlearning. And I think this is for any single young lady out there. I said this a lot. You need to learn about red flags. Like, study red flags. After self-awareness, start studying what red flags are. What can I tolerate? What can I tolerate about this person? So everything boils down to knowing yourself. So I really, really do appreciate that question. I feel like the eats and the answers are really getting like, oh, this is something for everybody right here. And I'm really catching on. So thank you for that. So I'll go back to Mrs. Olori Adetone. Thank you, ma'am. So what is that one right? Sorry, I think what is that one? What is one of the rights how to take into consideration before starting a family? That one right thing or how to that you think, oh, if I think about this, this is what I need to know about to start a family.
Okay, first of all, I would like to say that marriage is a thing of the mind, which everybody you have to prepare for it. It's not something that you can just jump into. It's a thing of the mind, and it's meant for matured, dedicated, and focused minds that can identify things that are going to distract them or that is distracting them and can get rid of it immediately or easily. That's what this stuff marriage is all about. So now, going into marriage, one thing that we all have to understand that you cannot change anyone except the person is willing to change. You can't get married to someone that is over 20, over 30, and you believe that you want to change the person within a year or 2 years. No. You have to change yourself. Let the person say that, okay, this is what this person is doing, and I think I can also emulate this. But if you have the mind that you're going into marriage and you want to change that person, it's a no-no. Because there's a part of that person that will tell you that I'm matured enough to know what I want to do. I'm matured enough to know that this is right and this is wrong. So why do you want to change me? And that is one thing that most people, or let me say majority of us, we fail to realize. We are all matured. I can only change myself. You can't change me. I will use myself as an example. I've been in marriage now for over 20 years. And one thing I've realized is that I am of the talking type. My partner, my husband, is a gentle person. But me going into the marriage and feeling that because I talk, he has to also talk all the time. It took me some time to realize that this man will not talk.
You need a friend.
Side. Let me just try to adjust myself. Yes. Let me try to adjust myself and see, okay, where do we meet? Where is the meeting point? And which along the line paid off. Because there's some places that you feel that you are supposed to talk, you're not supposed to talk. You are supposed to come out where he's supposed to be behind. And there's some places that he is the best position to talk about it. Best position to be there and not you. So changing somebody to fit into your own self is a no-no. Be patient enough, and also realize that what you see on TV, what you watch, is not the reality of what marriage is all about. You have to also understand that most of these things are just fantasy. Majority of us, we've read novels like Silhouette, Mills and Bones, and things that we are like, oh, this is what marriage is all about. I need to go there. Remember that it is just fallacy, fantasy. It is not the reality. I also remember that while I was growing up, I was thinking that what I see on the movie, the way the house is, a big house with flowers and things like that, that's where my house is going to be. But when I go into my realize that, it is not like that. You have to work to get to that stage. It's not something that you can just jump into. You have to work for it. So when going into marriage, realize that there is hard work in marriage. It's a step by step. Don't allow society dictate your marriage, but you yourself make your mind dictate what society is going to be like, not the society dictating for you. Don't look at other people's scores. When you are going into university, you know that everybody has, you all have your scores, you all have your lecturers, you all have your courses. The same thing with marriage. The same thing with marriage. You cannot allow other people's mark to dictate your own mark. You have to work for it to get that high grade. These are some of the things that we have to consider before going to marriage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for
I think I want to read something to that.
You want to keep it? Okay, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Olori Adetoun. May Allah bless your knowledge. Okay, so she mentioned something, and I want to have to. She said that you want to change somebody. I usually ask yourself, you want to change another person. There's something about you as an individual, as a person, that you are trying to change for years. You have not succeeded. Now you want to change another person that is grown enough to make decisions. You are going to be just try and try. So whoever you want to get married to, you should be able to know that this person, I can tolerate whatever it is that you sing with them. Because if you think that, let me marry him, I'm going to change him. Let me marry her, I'm going to change her. You are not going to end up changing that person. You get frustrated. So in your mind, once you meet somebody has a particular character they are trying to work on, be ready to walk a long journey with them on that character, even if they are willing to work on it. So be honest with ourselves. Let's check ourselves. You are open to change a man, especially women. We are always, we'll change that man. Man, they are not easy to change, except they are ready to change. I'm sorry to say, Mr. Jumo. They are not ready to change. They're only changing because they want to change. So don't think you're going to change that person, that part of them that you don't like. Be ready to be with that part for a long time. And also, she mentioned something about social media and everything. And people go into marriage because they feel that, oh, I'm running away from my people. Their wala is too much. Marriage is trouble. Take it or leave it. Be ready to work. It is not, this is what I to tell people. Marriage is not happily forever after. If you have it in your mind, you are joking. It comes with happiness, sadness, joy, both bars, annoyance, pity, disappointment, and forever like that. Joy comes in and all of that. So be prepared. Are you ready to face this? Like one of my clients told me, like, thank God, Mrs. Bom, you told me that it's not bed of roses. I'm seeing shaggy. I said, so me too, I'm seeing shaggy. Let's stay together. So, but she was happy because I told her that she should not come to the table with, oh, okay, I'm running away from trouble, and you're running away from somebody. You're going to a place that you find solace. You are running from something. You're going to meet with something else. I think that's just what I want to add to that. Thank you, Olori.
Thank you so much. And for what you said, I think the one question I would have to first for those that will be like, okay, fine. If I'm not trying to, if I feel like I don't want to change this person, what should I do? What should they do if they can't change them? You already can see from the beginning. You can see that, okay, you can see this thing that you don't like at all, because there are some things we think that we can stay with, and there are some things we feel like, okay, I might not be able to tolerate at all. And some people still go on. You can't stay with this person, and you go on with it. What should I do in that instance? Should you just, if someone is coming in, sister, you're coming in, she just, okay, fine. Maybe I should stop here. Maybe after a year or something, give me the time, or just go for someone else at all.
Okay. So, like you said, we are individuals. We are different. It is important to know yourself, to know what you can take, to know your threshold, to know your non-negotiables before you get married. So when you meet this person and you feel that, some people don't like it when people shout at them. When they shout at them, it gives them a lot of headache and anxiety. And this guy says, oh, I like to shout. You have to check yourself. I can't give a general advice to everybody. That's the truth, because your marriage is an individual thing. You are an individual person. Your partner is also an individual person. So it's not going to be a general stuff. So when you find a red flag, and the most unfortunate thing is that a lot of people see the red flag before they enter. Some of them are either struggling or thinking in their head, I'm going to change this person. No, I'm not going to change this person. It is glaring to their faces. They don't even understand the red. Some don't understand. But I can tell you, it is what we have been doing. Some of them see it clearly. And you hear after 2 years, they will not be saying, and I saw it, and you saw it, what are you doing to this? So once you see things like that, and you feel that, oh, okay, these things I cannot condone it, have a conversation with that person. That this is something I can't condone. Some people feel that if you shout at them, it gives them anxiety. They cannot do anything right. That is why you have to know yourself very well to know what you can take. If it is non-negotiable, I strongly believe and agree that you should leave it if it is non-negotiable. But if it is something you feel that, okay, I can still cope with. I'll give an example. For someone feel that, I've heard a lot of people that, even if my husband is beating me, I will have to stay in the marriage. They said that it doesn't matter. She is just beating. They will beg ourselves and will continue. For somebody like me, if they check me like son like this, I run away. I know I can't condone it. Like, that's the truth. So you know yourself to know what you cannot. So your non-negotiable should be like something you should should be like a barrier to you going forward. If this thing is going to kill you, because you know yourself enough. Some of us don't even know ourselves. The question here is knowing yourself enough to know what you can take and what you cannot take. Because you should put at the back of your mind that if you are 25, you are going to probably live the rest of your lives, 75 years, if you're going to die 100 years, in this marriage of a thing. So you will have to know some things that you cannot go beyond. However, as an individuals, we should also learn to tolerate people. Like I said, there's so many things that you feel, okay, I can just walk around. Yes, I can tolerate. But when it comes to you cannot tolerate it, they are non-negotiable. There are things that you cannot go on with. Then you should, at that point, look for something else. Thank you.
And I think before we move to the next question, which will probably our last, we go into Q&A, is that we spoke on negotiables and non-negotiables right now, right? And is there a certain age, right, that you think it feels easy for a lot of people to start knowing themselves? Because now we are in an era of self-awareness. Everybody's starting to get into the clique. People are reading books on it. There's a lot of videos online. You find it easily that people in their early 20s get to know about that term. But is there a certain age that feels easy to start knowing yourself? To know, okay, fine, at this stage I know myself now. I now understand certain marital terms, certain things to understand. Because fine, even though we feel like we can see our parents emulate different characters while we are growing up, we still cannot understand some things, right? We still can. I think that is why some people go into taking in the bad and thinking it is the good part of it. Is there a certain age that you think that it is right? Or you feel like it is really easy for people to understand, this is the non-negotiables, this is the negotiables. This is when I think I understand myself enough to think I'm old enough to get into a marriage. I'll go with Mrs. Bob. I think I was going with your chart.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's ask ourselves, this society, this African society that we have, does the family give us a room to know ourselves? They tend to lot their opinions. The father will say, shut up your mouth. You want somebody that is vibrant. You know that somebody that is vibrant from the start. And they will teach you that when you are going to that place, make sure that you shut up your mouth, that your dirty mouth, you don't talk. And you get gradually, that part of you is dying because you feel that, it's like it is wrong. And this is me. So the fact that there is no age to start knowing yourself. The knowing yourself start from us. I think the conversation should go around the fact that we need to keep educating parents. In fact, at this point, I think I want to strongly recommend parent premarital counseling right from the start. Because a lot of times you don't allow the child to be who they really are. And you are not even in this space to teach them how they can be themselves. So they said that as it may, from childhood, you may not know yourself. Now you've gotten to the level of, okay, at some certain age, I'm trying to do this. This is me. I like to do this. And to be honest with you, it is not easy in this society for a child to know themselves. Like some of us still do it. Your child wants to read in the night. You start shouting at them like, okay, I'm waiting, so go and sleep. You're supposed to sleep at this time. When the child knows that, okay, this is the time I like to read. It is not helping us. I think we should go back to helping these kids be who they are. And we as a parents, we are not even equipped enough to become enough to know these children. I was talking to somebody a couple of days back, talking about, okay, there's a particular, conversation starter cards that you should have. They said, what's the meaning of that? Do we have to? They don't invest in anything to help their child know themselves. There are classes that you can equip them and put them into classes, conversation classes, communication classes, learning to know themselves. You end up saying, does that matter? Does that matter? No, it is not going to be helpful. If we find ourselves in that regard, in that society, in this kind of society, that is not helping us to knowing ourselves. Now, let's say maybe you are ready to marry, you're in once you enter university or tertiary institution, you should start studying who you really are. Study what you like, the environment you like to be, who you want to be with. Know yourself. Maybe you shouldn't just, at that time, you can say a no to your parents. And it will be easy for you to know yourself well enough. So you can start from maybe when you enter the tertiary institution, observe yourself, try to understand why you get angry, what makes you really feel good and all of that. When you take notes of all those things, it's going to help you. However, you cannot know yourself fully. The who I am today is a different person to the who I was like 5 years back, because I love growth. I am growing. I realized you can't stop knowing yourself. You keep growing. You go to a class, maybe somebody like before 5 years back, they get angry easily. They are able to go to a particular class, self-aware class, communication class, calming class or whatever class, and they just realize, oh, I don't have to do this. They are growing. So the learning to know yourself is a lifetime thing. I might be in this environment and think, okay, this is me. I find myself in another environment. I realize, okay, I can adjust to this. It's a lifetime thing. So also your partner is going to change. Situation, you are going to change your partner. So the knowing yourself is not something we can just say, I know myself and I want to go and sit down. No. You have keep knowing yourself, because you are going to, if you're on the journey of growth, just somebody like me, you are growing, you want to be a better version of yourself. There's something about you that will change, but the basics will not change.
Thank you very much. And I think
Madam
this
Ruka,
would
let me
be,
just add a few things on the question you
yeah,
asked to the next question. Okay. I just want to put a layer on some of the things that have been said. You asked a question before now about what should the person do if they see certain things that they are not so comfortable with in the person that they are planning to get married to. So, I mean, because nobody is really perfect. Even the person speaking to you right now is not perfect. So, our weaknesses still show. And then I think Mrs. Baum, your name is actually funny to call. Mrs. Baum talked about...
Isn't it a network?
Mrs. Baum talked about conversations. And actually, I have a list of 3 things that a person like that should do. And conversation is the first thing. You see something that is not comfortable, that you're not comfortable with the person that you are planning to spend the rest of your life with. Have a conversation about it. Now, a value you should not compromise on in the person that you intend to marry is the person teachable and is the person reachable? Is the person teachable and is the person reachable? So, and that will mean that the person understands the fact that they are not perfect. And so can their attention be called to certain things that are not okay, that may sabotage the union, and they will sit down and take it and then start the process of working in and adjust. Now, you see that process of it starts from first a conversation. Okay, so the person I want to get married to sees something that they are not comfortable with in my life, and they say, this and this and this, I don't really like it. And then I am level-headed and humble enough to say, okay, I never saw it like that before, but now that you are mentioning it, okay, I think I will work on it. That's somebody who is willing to learn and who is teachable. So now, let me use the illustration of all of us we have phones, right? We have smartphones. Periodically, your phone sends you notification updates that you should update an app. So it will give you 2 options: ignore or update. So you can either click any of them.
Or block.
So if you continue to click ignore on that notification, it will get to a point that app will not be able to function well. So in relationship and marriage, we get notification updates. So when I call my spouse's or my partner's attention to something, that's an update. So the person has a responsibility to click ignore or to click update. So if the person continues to click ignore, the person may not be reachable and the person is showing that they are not teachable. If the person clicks update, now when update is clicked, change does not happen in a day. So the same way that update will not go from 0% to 100%. 100%. You see it going from 0 to 5 to 10. So progress is being made. So if I call the attention to something and they click update, how do I know they click update? They say, okay, I never thought about it like that. Okay, I will work on it. They have clicked update. You are not going to see the right behavior tomorrow. But the fact that they click
Exactly.
up means that it's streaming.
They're teachable.
It can actually stream from 0 to 20. And then from 20, it takes a long time before it gets to 25 because there are
100.
very technical issues there that are working.
The
That's
network
on your,
is bad.
but you see,
The
your
behavior is so
comfort,
hard.
yes, your comfort is that they are making effort in that
Exactly.
regard. So first is conversation. Second is to check whether the person is reachable or teachable. Then
Or
the
teachable.
third thing that I will say to such a person is build a system. Ensure the two of you have a system in place for accountability. I will paint a scenario again. You know, when engineers construct roads, they put guardrails where bridges are. You know, guardrails, those things that look like the guard rails where bridges are.
Yeah.
Suppose there's a valley or a ditch, they put guardrails in there. Many times you see guardrails on highways. So that supposing there may be a day as they are constructing the road, they are putting the guardrails. Because they might be thinking there might be a day that you won't be traveling on this road and it's coming from one club or one night party and it's speeding at 140 kilometers per hour. So before the car swerves into the ditch, this guardrail will contain it so that the damage will not be that bad. The car may be damaged, but his life will be saved. There are guardrails in our lives. That's a support system, accountability people. They can be parents, counselors, they can be your leaders in your wherever you are. Those are guardrails. Now, something about those construction is they don't construct the road and wait for 1 or 2 accidents to happen before putting guardrails. As they are constructing the road, they are putting the guardrails. As you are planning to enter into marriage, put that system in place. System of accountability. That if push comes to my wife has one phone number on her phone. If I misbehave, she will call that number. That's the system I'm talking about. That's a guardrail. Now, I am grateful to God that for the past 14 years, she has never had cause to use that number for that purpose. But I cannot tell you that one of the reasons why I'm behaving well is not because I am aware that there's a number to call. I probably will behave badly if I know that there's no number to call. But because I know there's a number to call, and if this person should call me by 1 a.m., I will stop whatever I'm doing and rush there. So, in fact, we talk about it once in a while. When I am playful and I do something silly and say, I will call so person and say, has he reached that point? You understand? You know, but the awareness of the fact that there's a number, that's what system do to you. If you don't have a system in place, people will misbehave. And in marriage, there are highways. There are seasons in your life that you may not be able to control. You will need support. You will need a system that can help put people. Ask people that have done it for 20, 25 years. So 3 things. Have a conversation about it. Ensure the person is reachable and teachable. And put a system of accountability in place. That will help you because nobody is perfect. Nobody knows it all. So we'll keep, like Mrs. Baum said, we keep learning, we keep developing, we keep growing. But you see, I know it's my gender that has a lot of challenge. If there's
we like it.
Many women that come for counseling in their marriage, they are not the problem. The person that has the problem is sitting at home and pressing remote control.
Yes.
That is
you get it, sir.
So this is the most genuine conversation we can have.
These 3 things that I said, I am actually selling it to my ladies. Ensure that that man is reachable and is teachable. If not, you can do 1 or 2, 3 years and everything will scatter and you won't be able to reach him. So put a system in place. Who ask the question before you sign I do, ask the question, who are you accountable to? Who can wake you up at 12 midnight and say, I want to see you tomorrow, and you will get up and go? If he says he doesn't have, begin to walk around making sure that he has a person like that. I'll stop there.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you.
very much. And I think one of the question this last time I was about to chip in is what you said just now, and it's all about knowing that the person they are accountable to is also someone they fear and respect so much that you know there is no, because I think
Yes.
I had a sister was about to get married, and yeah, I read online, not a sister, I read online. I think this is also another lady, and she was like, "Oh, I wanted to get married." And I think one thing that happened was I asked my guy, "Do you have someone that I can talk to if you start doing?" I think she used words. If you start doing nonsense or if you start doing shit, and I was like, "Okay, no, you must have. If you don't have, don't come." I think until the guy brought in someone,
Mm.
now the marriage is over, and she doesn't even need to, like you said, and this is really so important. Thank you so much. That is something that we should all keep. Even if you're already married, you think you're married, start looking for. If you think you don't have that person that you can report your husband to, that you can report your wife to, it is not too late, right? It is not too late to start thinking, okay,
Yeah.
who is that? Because we all have someone we fear. We
Yes.
have that person that
Yes.
can talk to us. We have that friend that's supposed to. We have it. We, at least even if it's just one person, we have it. So even if you're married, it's not for only single sisters or married sisters. This is for everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for talking about that. And we would
Sorry,
go
if I
back
may
into our
just,
last
I'm
question.
so sorry if I may just say this, because there may be
No.
certain people that will say there is a belief system that goes around that no, I don't want third party in my marriage, I don't want
Yeah.
third party in my relationship and stuff like that.
And
Now,
them.
there's a difference between having an accountability person and a third party. Now, like I said, guardrails are put in place as the road is being constructed. So even when you are driving safe, there is a guardrail. When you're not driving
Exactly.
safe, there's a guardrail. So a guardrail, an accountability person is not a third party. A third party is somebody who comes in when you have a problem. An accountability person is there during your good times and your bad times. So it's easy to go to them. When you are having child education, they are present. When you are celebrating this, they are present. So it's easy for them to be present when it is also not good for you. But a third
Yes.
party is somebody you go to call when you have a problem. There's a difference between having an accountability person and a third party. I just wanted to make that decision. So if somebody is thinking, no, I don't want third party. I'm not talking about third party. Have somebody you are accountable to, who is part of your system and part of your family, that when it's good, they are aware of your good times. They are aware of your jolly times. They are also aware of because it's the person that you are related and connected to that you'll be feel free to share stuff with. Do you understand? So that's why men will say, I don't want third party. No, I don't want to tell my issue. That ego.
Men is the most important culprit here. I
know my gender.
They don't want to come for counseling too. They don't want it.
They don't.
Thank you so much. And now I think if we have men here, Now this is all. Please start transferring this one man to another. That man is the most, like 70% goes back to the men, and I think the home will be such a better. At the end of the day, we are told that the men are the leaders and they are meant to lead. So I think it will all work well better if we all know what we need to do. So thank you so much for that. And the last question before we round up. We'll go to Mrs. Olori Adetong. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here. There are always things to avoid in any situation, right? And in the case of starting a family, what are those things to avoid? What are those things you think we need to avoid when starting a family?
The thing you're supposed to avoid, first of all, as Mrs. Bomber said, there's always a red flag. And one thing we are supposed to be aware of is arguments. Arguments. When it comes to arguments, even while you are courting, and the argument comes in and it continues to prolong, you know that is a red flag. Because by the time you continue to argue after you get married, there is surely going to be a problem. Somebody has to be quiet for the other person. It doesn't mean that you will not reach your destination. It doesn't mean that you will not reach a conclusion. You will surely get there. But at that particular time, avoid that argument. Another thing is that Mr. Juwan said, I'm going to stress is the communication part. That communication, It's not just communication, it's about effective communication. Your communication has to be effective. There should always be a feedback. And be ready for that feedback. When you communicate with someone, either you want the person to accept it and correct, or you just want the person to just listen and go their way. How are you communicating? Are you communicating so the person can understand you and accept that the person is wrong, or understand what you are trying to pass? Because some of us, let me put it there, that Yoruba will say, when I'm communicating with you and I tell you, what does that mean? Just say it and leave. I'm not going to take to it. But when you say that, my dear, please, I have something to tell you. Can you please give me 1 or 2 minutes? There's somebody you will tell in such a manner that, okay, I want to give you that 1 minute. And he says that it is not yet time for us to talk. Please give him that space, or her that space. Let him go and think about it. Because if you force yourself to communicate at that particular time, he will not listen. His mind is not there. His or her mind is not there with you. So you're not going to talk. And there won't be any positive response to it. Mr. You want to also mention something about support system. Support system, Yoruba, they'll say, Olubawi. Olubawi does not really mean that, it does not mean that you have to fear that person. It is that respect. Because sometimes you fear people without having respect for that person. But what is that respect you're giving that person, that by the time the person says, hey, you're ready to say, okay, I think I've done this, and you're ready to accept? That support system is very, very important. Olubawi. That Olubawi, do you have one or you don't have? We should continue to upgrade ourselves. The growth mindset is very, very important. Look at it that where you are going to is as important as where you are coming from. Be intentional about it. Be intentional and have a roadmap. The roadmap is one thing that you have to sit down and talk about even before you get into marriage. What are your goals? What are your needs? If you don't know all this, when you have a roadmap, it's just like Google Map. When you have a roadmap, if you're about to miss your way, the map will tell you, no, you are missing your way, please go back. This and that way you are supposed to take. If you can't take that way again, it will reroute you. What is your roadmap? How are you going to achieve that journey you're about to start? These are things that we have to sit down to talk about, to think about, even before you are set to marry. And it doesn't start the day you meet your man or your woman. It doesn't start the day you pick a date. It starts from now, irrespective of your age. What is your goal? What is your roadmap? Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, what are your goals? What are your needs? And what are your roadmaps? The growth mindset, like she said. So I think I would shift the question back to Mrs. Baum now.
Okay.
To hear your own opinion on it. We all have different opinions on things like this. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I actually share Olori Adeton's opinion. I will just add to it. Okay, so there are certain things that you should avoid, like before you settle down. And one of the things is, do not close your eyes to knowing this person you want to get married to. Avoid not doing research on them. Number one, a lot of times that there's a word we use, then Yoruba will say alareno. Yes, you have to be intentional knowing this person. I'm not saying you shouldn't believe whoever you want to get married to. You ask questions. Shebi will say you should go and ask questions. You ask questions, but you don't sit on that. It doesn't mean you don't believe them. Avoid saying, don't worry, everybody says I'm good. And then their friends will say, he's a good person. And you say, tell me, your auntie will say a good person. Everybody around them will say good person. Even the time and hate that we have now, people lie to say, no, Jenny, let me say that is nice. Go and do research. Avoid not doing research about this person. They say things about you. Please go further. secretly. If you can do secret investigation, this is a lifetime thing. Please avoid not doing that. That's number one thing. And I think another thing you should avoid is, don't say that I don't want to go to premarital counseling. Where did you learn your thing from? You are going for a course, right? You should know why you are going into this. Some people run away from premarital counseling, especially men. And with sisters will come and say, I don't want him to be angry. Please help him begging. Help him beg who? The guy doesn't want to go for breast. That's the problem. That's the problem for me. If you are coming for premarital counseling and you want me to be begging the guy you want to get married, it doesn't make any sense to me.
And you have already started begging now. You are going to.
You continue begging. Thank you, sir.
For just premarital counseling.
Yes, they will say it doesn't matter. What do they want to teach me there? What do you know, Papa? So don't allow that. When a man says, I'm not interested in that, I don't want to go for that and all of that, that's a big problem. Do not close your eyes to it. Avoid it. At this point, why is he running away? Should be just for us to learn something. And that one gave me to the next one is avoid preparing for the wedding day and not the marriage properly. A lot of people will spend 20 million in preparing for wedding, preparing for, the halls and the gowns and the everything, the cake. Ask them to come and pay 100,000 naira for premarital because it's too much. It's too much. They are not preparing for it. And this I've seen a lot of people that it is this gown that they use to order from Dubai that they thought they are fighting 3 days after their wedding. You get my point. So avoid not going to premarital counseling. It's a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal. So avoid that. And do not close your eyes to the red flags that you see. Just like Mr. Juan said, I've actually learned a lot from him. May God bless your knowledge, sir. He said, when you find a red flag, don't close your eyes to say, well, we will change, just like that at the conversation. Start from conversation. And when you start asking him, like, okay, this is it. I'm not comfortable with this thing. What do you think I can do? And the guy is ready to be teachable and reachable. It's fine. But if it's pressing red button or ignore button, use your leg and run away. Because such a person will not listen to you. If they don't listen to you now, they will not listen to you after marriage. Exactly. And another thing is and then also, like you said, don't avoid, when you find red flag, do that and also ensure that there's a system in place. One of the things we asked during our premarital counseling session is that when there's somebody, you must have somebody that you must talk to. It's a problem. Every one of us here should put it in our whatever that we have with people that, okay, the system, let them put it in place. Because you cannot wait till the building want to collapse. That's when you are looking for patches. No, they must be in the, don't avoid that. Have that conversation. And the last question is avoid not asking questions. I don't want to hurt him. I don't want to ask questions. Yes, please ask questions. A lot of people say, I'm afraid, I don't want to hurt him. I feel high. Should I ask? I don't want to ask. Anything. This is your life. Ask. If they don't want to answer, how they will help? Why would you want somebody? You are going into a marriage. It's a lifetime thing. See, the value of your life has a lot to do with whoever you want to get married to. If that makes you or marry you, whoever you had today, whatever you want to be today, is as a result of whoever somebody I will be sleeping with and waking up with. Some people are smart, but when they get married to one dull person like that, they turn to dull that immediately. So ask questions. Avoid not having asking questions, because this is your life and this is your marriage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much. And I think before I ask for Mr. Juwon's opinion about this, I would go back to that example he gave, right, about a building. We have lots of buildings that actually, collapse in Lagos and, everywhere. It happens anywhere, right? And this is all about knowing that a very, very weak foundation, if the foundation is very weak, like very, very weak, there is nothing you can patch. So it's better to focus on the foundation now. Because a very weak foundation, all of those houses that collapse, there's nothing they can do about it. Oh, my father collapse, none. So if you are not doing the right thing right now, it will collapse. I think I'm talking about this. I just had a glimpse of that building. I was like, this thing is true. And this is from a very good experience myself. So if it is very weak, if you don't understand what you need to understand, if you don't understand breakdown, if you don't know yourself, it will collapse. So for any early 20s sisters or any young sisters getting into a marriage, I think this is one thing that you need. I was talking to my friend the other day, I was like, I have younger sisters getting into marriage, and I feel scared. I'm not yet married again, but I feel scared. Why? It's like, this is trauma. I think I'm scared because of my own trauma. But I'm scared because of I do okay. There's nothing I can do. She shall get married. Let me pray for her. Let me just pray for her. I mean, I'm not just easy it, because at the end of the day, I'm getting scared. Basically because of me, not because I think something might be happening. Also, hey, I hope this man is good. Or I mean, not just my say, hey, how are you now? How is it, brother? Everything is fine. I pray everything will be fine. And I'm not doing that just because I want her not to get married, because everybody will eventually get married. I think I'm talking about that because of the foundation. So I believe everybody needs to check that up, and we need to be self-aware. We need to build the foundation very, very for everything they've spoken with us about. It is so important we build the foundation. So I would go back to Mr. Juwon right now and, get your opinion on the question. What are the things that we need to avoid? What are those things we need to avoid when starting a family?
Thank you. Sincerely, I don't think I have anything to add to what all the ones that Adetong and Mrs. Bomba have said. No, I don't have anything to add really, but let me just stress something that Mrs. Bomb said, and also paint it like that's actually a red flag. She already mentioned it. If you are in a relationship right now and you are afraid to express yourself, you are afraid to ask questions about something that you're not comfortable about, it's a red flag. It's a red flag. You're not married yet, but you cannot actually express yourself right now. Or the person you're in a relationship with has created this thing about that relationship. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, I hear an echo. I don't know why. Okay, the person in that relationship that you're in a relationship with has created something that even if you complain about something, by the time they explain and analyze, you're the one who will say sorry. By the time they explain the thing you're complaining about and analyze it and tell you how they behave like that because you did A, B, C, and D. Red flag. There is really shining red. So if you're in a relationship right now and you are not free to express yourself and complain about something that you're not comfortable with, it's not going to get better in the marriage. And that's not a curse. It's just that you're already setting a pattern in place and you need to be wary of it. Address it before it becomes a monster. That's all I'm going to just put on it. And I think our uncle has left the room.
Can I add something to it?
Please, ma, go ahead, ma.
Your self-confidence.
Please do.
Your self-confidence is very, very important. It's very, very important in whatever you want to do. Your self-confidence, your self-care, your self-love, creating that happiness for yourself is very important. There is no, you don't go into a marriage that you continue to say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Everything you say is yes, sir. There will be a time that you would have bottled up a lot of things and you are going to explode. That's why when you look at bottles, Coca-Cola bottles or any other bottle, they don't bottle, they don't cork it, they don't bottle it to the fullest. There's a reason for it. Exactly. By the time it's going to explode, it will always have space. So avoid that explosion. So if you kind of bottle a lot of things in your mind and you're going to say yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, or yes man to everything, the day you explode, you'll be shocked. And it will create a lot of trauma, a lot of sadness for you. And this does not go to the singles alone. It also goes to those people that have been married before. You have a fear of where you are going to might be the same thing of where you are coming from. Definitely, you have to overcome that trauma before you move ahead. If you don't overcome that trauma, it will continue to live with you in that new marriage. So you have to be very careful about it. Don't take whatever baggage you are coming from the first marriage into your second marriage. Be sure that you have healed properly before moving ahead. If not, you realize you are going there with the same problem, and before you know it, you might even be out of that marriage again. And that's why you see a lot of people going into second and third marriage because they were not healed
Without
from the first
healing.
marriage. They've not finished healing, and that healing process is very, very important for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I love that you ended it with healing, before even getting into any other part of the relationship, or even and the top three tips you gave about self-confidence, self-care, and self-love. From experience, I realized that I just started knowing how to really love myself. The self-love, that started 1.5 years ago. I was like, so this is it. And we all can learn about self-love differently, right? Self-love can be learned differently. I started self-love based on just sitting down, meditating, and just speaking, self-love affirmative words to myself. I was like, so okay, so this is self-love. This is the self-love that they've been talking about. At the end, and this is after I was out of 1.5 years ago, self-love. So I think for every person here, even if you're married and you're not out, and I pray that Allah would not, because being out is not the answer. We all have our different experiences. What I'm saying is we all need to learn about this thing. Whatever, like all of the tips you gave here are so important. Take care of yourself. Self-care is important. Take care of you. Be confident, know yourself. Self-awareness is just so key. Love yourself, please. Yes, you want your husband to love you, you want your family to love you. Learn how to love yourselves. At least a lot of people are going through different issues because they don't love themselves. A lot of people are going through insecure issues because they don't love themselves. And it's just about that. So let's learn what exactly is self-love. Then and learn how to love yourself. Thank you so much, Mrs. Olori Adetong, for those last tips. Thank you, Mrs. Bomb. Thank you, Mr. Juwon, and everybody here, our listeners watching from everywhere. We're so grateful to have you here. I think we will have to go into questions now, and then whatever last tip you might have for us. So let me get into the comments and see if you have questions. So what questions do we have? I'm here. I can read your chat now. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Please ask your questions before our speakers leave. We have like 30 minutes more. If you have any questions, please drop them now. I can read your comments. Do we have any questions? Trying to scroll. With all these gems that everybody has been dropping, our speakers have been dropping, we don't have questions. Any questions, please? We have time, or there is still time, and we don't want to read them without asking. See, they have lots of beautiful knowledge. They have a lot of things to share with us. If you have any questions that you think, you might need to ask Mrs. Bomb, you might need to ask Mr. Juwon, you might need to ask Mrs. Olori Adetong, please ask now. Okay, I think that we should ask for passing words. Okay, all right. So thank you so much. I would like to go on and ask for your parting words, and we'll go first with the man in the house, Mr. Juwon Odutoya. Please give us your parting words, sir.
After I leave this meeting, I'll start telling everybody it's no longer ladies first. Okay, so I'll just say that for as many intending couples out there, be aware of this, that there are two things that family would demand from you: time and attention. Family would demand time and attention from you. So if you're going to start a family, be aware that you will need to give time and attention to it. At the same time, your career also requires two things: time and attention. Okay. So your career or your work requires time and attention. Family also requires time and attention. So what that means that you will need to find a balance. So that one does not make the other suffer. One does not make the other suffer, because you need time and attention to build a career. You need time and attention to build a family. So be aware before you go into it, so that the same way we've talking about systems, so that you have systems in place that will help you balance, so that one is not making the other suffer. So if you're not ready, just know that, okay, let me get my career, let me get my work to this point before I dive into this. Or I can find a way, I am in a place where I can delegate certain things right now, so that I'm also there for the children. Because really, you're starting a family, you're going to be producing children. Don't be an absentee mother, an absentee father that is not there to raise the new families that you're trying to create. So be aware that two things that family will demand from you is time and attention. Two things that your career will demand from you is also time and attention. So try and find a balance. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Try and find a balance. Delegate if you can. Thank you so much. And then we go to Mrs. Baum for your parting words, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for, for this opportunity, because being among, the knowledgeable people here, I've learned a lot. Thank you so much. Okay, so my parting message here is to just say that away from everything that we said, marriage is beautiful. Honestly, marriage is beautiful. True love is real. Marriage actually works, and marriage is not a scam. But you know what? You have to work for it. We work. Marriage is not forever, happily forever after. It comes with its own challenges. So that's just my pattern. Just be ready that you are ready to go on this journey before you go into it, because marriage is very, very beautiful. It's even not everybody cannot come and say that, oh, marriage is bad, 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 bad. I've seen beautiful marriages, and I'm sure you have a lot of them too. Even though we have some marriages that has, patches, and they're heading towards divorce, but marriage is beautiful. Don't let us scare you with all of these things that we are saying. Marriage is beautiful. True love is real. Yes, and marriage is not a scam. And I'd like to add this too. Men are not scum. Thank you.
So necessary.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is an honor for the man that we have in the house. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I think we would go for Mrs. Olori Adetoun parting words now. Thank you so much.
Okay, so we all know that marriage is an institution, and it means that we are all running different courses with different lecturers, as I said earlier. I would just like to tell everybody that face your course with positivity and not with others' negativity.
Face front.
Face your own course with positive mind. Don't look at other people's negative mind. Have in mind that your own is going to work, even if other marriages fails, but yours is going to work. At the same time, as Ms. Bomba said, you are going to work hard to make it positive and make it a home and not a house for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think before we go, we have one question, if you don't mind. We have one question from one of our viewers, and it goes like, is it advisable to be friends with an opposite gender before venturing into a relationship? So, would go to Mrs. Baum.
Okay. Is it advisable? The question is not really, really clear. Is it friends with the person you want to marry, or just anybody? It's not clear to me. Advisable to be friends with an opposite gender before venturing into a relationship. You mean that the person, okay, if the question is it advisable to be friends with the person you want to get married before you end up into relationship, right? Okay, so the question is not so clear, but I'll give my answer as much as I can give. Actually, being friends with somebody you want to get married is not necessary. It's not necessary that you have to, be the friend with this person. You end up being friends with every other person and get attached to them because if you're friend with this person for some time, you feel that, okay, it's not going to work. You're going to, if you have the intention or the mindset that, okay, let me be friends with this person before you go on. But the truth is, the person you want to marry, that you end up marrying, even if the person is not your friend, you have to be friends. You have to be friends. So, but the question, I will also say that you can know the person you want to get married to. Just like I said, ask questions, know everybody. You don't have to be friends with that person before knowing them. A lot of us we don't know even our partners, you know. But it is not necessary that you be friends with that person. But it is necessary that once you make up your mind that you're getting married to this person, be friends with the person, ask questions, and end up being that person's friend. You end up being friends before, yes, even after marriage. So it's not, to me, I feel that it's not necessary to be friends with the person you want to get married to. Start being friends, going places together and all of that. And you now see finish, you now come in and things like that. You know, you already be whatever you want to be in marriage from friendship. You get my point. So I don't know if I've answered the questions very well, or maybe somebody else can answer the question.
Would anybody like to, Mrs. Olori Adetoni?
Well,
Do you
I
have
don't really
anything
have much to say with what
to
she has said. The sincere
All
truth is
right.
that if you say you want to be friends with that person, how many people do you want to be friends with before you get married? So what kind of friendship? What kind of friendship are you talking about? But when, as she has said, immediately you know that this is the person you want to get married to. The person has to become your friend. As in your friend, your real friend. So there are so many friends out there. If only the person can explain to us the kind of friendship he or she is talking about.
Okay. I think that should be okay. I think we have a question. Sister Tower, you said you have a question. If you have a question now, you can ask. We have just like 10 minutes more to go. If you have a question, can you ask now? Can you ask now, please? Sister Tawa Odun, can you ask your question? I think she's viewing from YouTube. Can you ask your question now? I'm waiting for a few minutes for you. Okay, I think we have to go, probably your network or something. Thank you so much. We have to round up now. Thank you so much. Okay, there are two things. Okay, that's not the question. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for our viewers for viewing from anywhere. I think from Nigeria or anywhere in the world. Thank you so much. We are really so honored to have you here. We're so grateful. It's been such an insightful conversation and what we call like brain shattering conversation. Thank you so much, and we want to like say thank you and bye
You're
for now.
welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Shakira.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye. Thank you very much, Mr. Juwon.